Welcome back. Onto the third piece of tillage. So this machine can be used in the spring and the fall, and as you'll see, it leaves it fairly level. As you widen out that spacing, it's going to be more uneven, bigger clods, so on and so forth. So it's not going to finish as well.
Wait, that's part of that 32 flute blade too. A smooth blade, a lot of the competitors have a smooth or a notched blade. They're much more susceptible to ribboning off of the edge of that blade. So you're going to get chunks or clods. It's more susceptible to being a little bit more cloddy. That 32 flute blade has a lot more turbulence as that material flies off that blade. So you're going to have a slightly smaller clod sizing off of that. So
yeah. So as we look towards the front of the machine, a lot of your short coupled machines and even your higher speed machines will tend to want to do a little bit of hopping. So what Kuhn designed into this is a couple different features. So if you take a look at the hydraulic blocks up here, we basically have 3 of them. So as you're running high speed in the field, what do you think your wings are going to want to do? As you increase speed, it's harder to keep in the ground and you want to flex. We don't have the gang angle like a heavy tandem disc that's got basically a 19 up to a 21 degree gang angle on it, or a shallow concavity. So it's basically a shallow concavity blade with a 16 degree angle with a 9 degree tip. So what they designed into it is we got a hydraulic fold-unfold block, but we also can add continuous flow to it to keep those wings basically down and engaged, so that our outside blades are running the same as our center. The other thing that can happen on it is if we apply pressure, we do still have a little bit of concavity, a little bit of angle to it, so it is going to want to suck that wing down. So they built these stabilizer wheels into it to keep that wing from dropping too deep, but also to help dampen the bouncing. So we've got a second block on here for our stability wheels, and again we're going to run continuous flow through it. So as the machine wants to hop, you get the wheel out here, and it's going to absorb that, and it's going to help to bring that back into stability. And the nice thing with it is you don't have to do anything. It's all done through our hydraulic system. The other integral part to it is we got stabilizers in the back. It's like a shock absorber type system. So we've got these to absorb that bounce, and we've got the shock absorber to absorb that bounce. Basically industry leading. I don't think there's any manufacturing partner that's doing that today. And then the third block that is up here is just for the star wheels. I'll talk a little bit about that as I get towards the back of the machine.
The stabilizing system is integral to the wing fold system as well. While they have 2 different adjustments for pressure, it's all in the same circuit. So when you engage your wing fold circuit into constant flow to engage that pressure, then you can adjust your wing downforce and your stabilization pressure through the individual blocks there.
We've got a set of tines here, and you'll see that on another machine that we have. And we introduced it originally, I thought, that doesn't make sense. Hair out of place, right? Our time's supposed to go in the back of the machine. But when you take a look at this, and you'll see it run in the field, it's really designed for 2 different reasons. One is it helps to keep the soil and residue down, so we get a cut, sick, and mix on it. But you can see the length of frame that we have versus that 16-inch spacing. 16-inch, if you take a look, there's a blade inside of there. That's about how far apart those gangs are.
In competitive machines, this is where that next gang would be. So.
Yeah. So the second function to it, and actually a farmer pointed out to me, he says, look, he goes, that really helps to redistribute my residue. So that comes off of here, anything that it hasn't impacted, we're starting to redistribute it. So again, we cut it again and work it a second time through. It is very adjustable right up here on the front. It's just a handle, and you can basically take those times and you change the pitch on it. Something you can really visually see right from the cab of the tractor. So, integral part to the design. As we go further back, and the residue's falling down, we're getting second mix on it. We've got a basic combination star wheel, reel combination on it. That front block that I talked about up there, again, we'll run live hydraulics on it. We can adjust the pressure here to the desired finish. So it helps to take in those root balls we plucked up, knock the soil out of it, does some pre-leveling, and basically we finish through the back with the reel. Again, we got 80 pounds of down pressure, same concept as the Dominator. We can lift that reel up when it gets real muddy. It's the same with the Star Wheels. We can lift that reel up when it gets the Star Wheels up when it gets real muddy. So very adjustable machine for varied conditions. This is just over what we had done with the Interceptor to give you an idea on field finish. If you kind of take a look across the profile, we don't have any shank marks. They've all been taken out with that 3-row tine harrow. You can see we've pounded more of these root balls even as they've come up. You know, the shanks have dragged them up with that crumbler. Obviously, it'd look a lot different if we were to run this in the springtime, but it gives you an idea of the finish of it. And even though the Interceptor, you know, ran it fairly smooth, you can see some undulations. And you can see a difference in the clod size with just that one pass. So if you were to take and let this sit for over winter, or the Land Saver over winter, that freeze thaw is really going to take those clods and bust them up, powderize them. So when you come through with the field color, it's just going to give you a very, very nice finish. So one thing I neglected to say, that new 5640 was pointed out to me, and somebody reminded me that that will have a hydraulic lift basket on that as an option on that 56 and 60 foot size for next year. And I would anticipate that'll be introduced in the smaller size in the near future also.
And they,
again, we're processing those root balls very well, plucking them, beating out the dirt on them, and basically that's going to get us further ahead for our spring tillage. If you take a look at the profile, you still got one that's kind of stuck, and you'll see that in the fall. So don't always expect to be 100%, but look what it is. It's loose. We've introduced basically air to it, so we get some moisture, and we got all the ingredients now to break that root ball down. So as we take a look through the profile, you can see how level that's cutting it out. Again, we got another root ball. Very hard to pluck. All of them. So basically it's a high-speed machine that, again, you can run in the spring and the fall. So and I always say it compares to the Dominator. If you look over on that hillside, the level of black that you have there compared to the level of black here, it's very similar. The difference is, think about it, 16.5 mile an hour, 16.5 feet, 18 feet at 6 mile an hour versus 30 feet at 10 mile an hour. So that is the Interceptor.